Hi everyone, welcome to Data series. We are thrilled to be with you here this evening for a session full of action-packed learning. Myself, Jaskirat Singh, with Shishir Singh are part of the data science team here at Analytics Vidhya. Will be our moderators for this session. The Data series of webinars are led by top industry leaders, which will help us to enable deeper discussions and conversation with our cherished community. The DataHour is definitely going to be a fun way of understanding the concepts of data science from leading players in data science domain. We are hopeful that these webinar sessions are going to be a great source of enrichment and value adding for our community members. Our session today is about build and operationalize your machine learning models using Tableau Business Science. This webinar will focus on the AutoML solution and how it can enable business users to tune their data and business knowledge into actionable analytics. Our presenter, Amir, will be used Einstein Discovery integration with Tableau to demonstrate how business users can build a predictive model and bring it into Tableau, build different reports, and get more insights. I am delighted to be joined by Amir Mehman. Amir Mehman is the principal solution engineering on the Salesforce strategic solution team focusing on data science and machine learning. Amir has 10 plus years of experience building, deploying, and applying advanced analytics to solve enterprise business problems. On to our presenter today. On to our presenter today.
Okay, hello everyone, and hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Okay, all right, so let me share my screen and then we can start. Okay, can you please confirm that you guys can see my screen? Yeah, okay, great. So hello everyone, and welcome to this session. This session would be about Tableau Business Science, which is a new capability for business users to not only build their machine learning model with no code and only click, but also operationalize this model, deploy this model, and make it available for the daily decision-making process. So before jump into the presentation, I want to give quick go through quick housekeeping item. So all of the content and material for this session will be available on my GitHub account. So during this session, we are going to build a model based off some data, and this data is available on my GitHub account. So feel free to download this material for yourself, and then you can just build the same model if you want. Also, we are going to use 3 different pieces of Tableau product, and all of them are available. The trial version of all of these products are available. And I believe the link to download the trial version is available to the audience. So you can download Tableau 14 days trial version through this link, tableau.com/trial/download-tableau. In addition to Tableau, we are going to use Tableau PreBuilder, which is basically an ETL tool enabling you to build data pipeline. So the trial version of Tableau PreBuilder is also available to download. And for model building, we are going to use Einstein Discovery, and you can request for a trial version, which is valid for 30 days through the website. And all of these links are available. So I'm going to put the link to my GitHub link into the chat box so everyone have access to that. All right. So saying that, let's start the presentation. Thank you everyone for joining this meeting. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where you are joining this session. And I hope we can have a very productive and interactive session within the next 1 hour or so. So before talking about the use case and business problem, I want to give a brief introduction about Tableau Business Science and importance of operationalizing machine learning model. So if from the very high level, if we look at the overall process of applying machine learning and data science technique and model to solve like any business problem. There is a huge distance from data to business user. So there are many steps that need to be taken from data gathering, data preparation, model building, and model development to build a model and make it available to business user. And obviously, when time is an important factor, this distance can be problematic. You can imagine like there are like many reports in the market from Gartner and other similar companies that 80% of data science project fail to move into the production, and they could not generate any value for the industry and for the organization. The primary reason behind this like high failure rate is this distance, because most of the time when the model is ready to use, the business problem is already gone, and it's not the problem for everyone. So in some situation, time to value is very important. For the business user, they need to have access to this model in a very short period of time, which is not possible through this route, because it takes a lot of time to go through all of these steps to turn data into a model which is usable for business user. So Tableau Business Science is basically one-stop solution which enable business user to not only build model automatically, but also operationalize and deploy this model, and then embed it and integrate it into their daily workflow and make their daily decision by interacting with this model in the real time. And what we are going to do during this session is going to a real world use case and see how we can not only build a model, but how we can just operationalize this model from the business user perspective to make a better decision for the business problem that we have. So Tableau Business Science is a category of AI-powered analytic that dramatically open up data science capability like customer predictive model simulation and scenario planning, clustering, and any other on-demand model to more people. And it has like three main advantage, three main like value proposition. It is simple and fast. As I mentioned, it is built and designed for business user, for the people who do not necessarily have any like data science and machine learning knowledge, so they can just build a model using click and no code with like all relevant data that they have. It is trusted and transparent. So the model that you build with like Tableau Business Science is not a black box. The model is fully explainable. So as a business user, you can understand the underlying reason behind every single prediction. And it is built based on like the foundation of ethical AI with like real-time model monitoring, bias and bias protection. And last but not least, it is like fully integrated. So as I mentioned earlier, this platform not only enable you to build a model, but also you can just deploy this model and integrate it within your daily workflow in Tableau to interact with this model in the real time. So saying that, let's jump to the business use case that we have to first understand the business problem. And then after that, we will go through the model building process to see how we can turn this data into a machine learning model and take some action based off that to solve this problem. The business use case that I have is from like traveling industry. So imagine that Linda is the chief marketing officer, and her team recently ran a marketing campaign to motivate their customer to book hotels in their property in the state of Florida in United States. And unfortunately, the first marketing campaign was not very successful. Majority of their customer rejected the offer and the promotion that the hotel provide them, and they decide to not book hotel in this property. So as a result, her team is working to run a new marketing campaign in next few weeks for the second group of customer. And considering the failure of like the first campaign, they need to run this new campaign intelligently to make sure that they are successful. So the key point here is that the second marketing campaign is going to happen in like next few weeks. So there is not like much of time. And this second marketing campaign need to be successful because of like the first failure that her team had in the first marketing campaign. So now let's jump into the Tableau to see the visualization and the report of the first marketing campaign. So in this dashboard on the map, we can see the location of all property in the state of Florida. And we have like three types of like location, depends on their location. The hotels that are close to like downtown and crowded area, the hotels close to like a beach and the regular hotel. And they are like labeled by color. But the most important part of this report is this pie chart, which indicate that only like less than 10%, like around like 9% of customer respond positively to the promotion plan, to the offer that they receive, and 90% of customers reject this offer and decide to not book their hotel in this property. In the right hand side, we can also see like the number of offer over time. So there are like sometimes like June and May, no, September and October are like the high season. So that's why we have like more promotion during this time. But unfortunately, the positive response from customers are still low regardless of like the seasonality. And but last, if we break down like this data based off like the location type, it seems that there are some trend in the data. So for the location near to the beach, like these locations that are like across the coast and close to the beach, there's a slightly higher like acceptance rate because these property are close to the beach and they are most likely are more like attractive for people. And then after that, like the location close to downtown has like a slightly higher than average, and then the regular hotels has like the lowest like acceptance rate from the customer. But the bottom line is that majority of our customer, like 90% of customer, reject this offer, and the marketing campaign were not very successful. So from the business perspective, Linda's team has a lot of like domain expertise, so they know the market behavior very well. And they have a lot of relevant data. They have all the data related to the customer. They have all the data related to the location. They have all the customer survey data and the data related to the promotion and offer. However, the biggest barrier, the biggest caveat here is turning this data into an intelligent model in a way that the business user, the end user, can have access to that and can make their daily decision based on it. And given the fact that we only have like a few weeks, it's very challenging, because the challenge is not only about building the most accurate model, but it is about like operationalizing this model and making this model available to the end user. So her team is in the need to combine their domain expertise and data into a machine learning model, and ultimately understand how they can maximize their customer acquisition in less than few weeks. So now let's jump into the model building process. So the first step, as you can imagine, is just gathering the data from a variety of data sources. As I mentioned earlier, we have many data sources that can be helpful to build this model. It is not only the data related to the customer, it is also the data related to the customer survey, related to the location, related to the offer. So we should be able to combine all of this data together and come up with one single source of truth, and then build our machine learning model based off the comprehensive data set that we have. So let me jump into Tableau PreBuilder. So Tableau PreBuilder is an ETL tool that enables you to bring your data from anywhere and then combine this data, manipulate this data, and make this data ready for your analysis. And it is all based off like click and no code. So so you don't need to have like any knowledge of like database or coding to work with that. So the first step, so this is the appearance of product. And as I mentioned, you can just download like the trial version of it. So the first step is connect to the data and bring data. So Tableau PreBuilder has data connection to almost any type of database. So no matter where your data is, you can bring this data without like writing any code or building any like pipeline or infrastructure. So the data from like variety of like Amazon database or Azure database, like Databricks, Dataroma. So there are like many like data connection that you can use and bring your data. And also you can, if your data exists in multiple location, you can use like multiple data connection and bring them in. All of my data in this use case exists as a text file. So I'm selecting text file as my data, and I'm going to select all of the CSV file that I have. So the customer data, the customer survey data, the hotel data, and offer data. So I'm going to select all of them, and now we would have like 4 different entities in this view, and each of these entities is one of the data set that I have. And by selecting each of these entity, you can immediately see the schema of this data set, like the name of the fields, the data type, and the sample data. So this is the data related to my customer. So I have some information such as like customer ID, the last time they booked the hotel in this property, if they receive any reward, if they have like membership, or if like what is the loyalty in the term of like number of months they are my customer. The second database is basically a customer survey. So I gather this data from the website. These are the review that my customer wrote for my property in the past. So I have the customer ID and the review that they wrote for me in the past in the form of like plain text. So the first step is just combining these two data together. So combining different data set is quite easy. I can just drag this one of these data set and then add it as join. I want to join these 2 data set together. So as you drag it to the join, Tableau PreBuilder automatically identify the potential field that can be used to join these 2 data sets. So in this case, customer ID is the potential like field because they have like similar value and similar name. And the default join is like inner join, but you can just change it to the left join or right join with just one single click without writing any code. But I could just join these 2 data together very quickly, and then you can see the result here. So I have all the data of like my customer information, loyalty, membership, reward, last book, customer ID, and also I have like my customer review results, the review that they wrote on the website, and also the customer ID. The customer ID is redundant because it exists in like both data sets. So I'm going to remove one of them because they are like similar. So I'm going to rename these to my like full customer info. So that would be my first one. Now, the 2 other entities are like the information about the hotel, like which location they have, like which city they are located, the estate, the hotel ID, and the county name. So they are basically the information of the location. And the last entity is the offer that I provide to my customer, hotel ID and customer ID, which hotel was offered to which customer, and the characteristics of offer, like the discount rate, the perk they receive, the way that I contact my customer, and the ultimate result if the customer accept this offer or reject this offer. And very similar to the previous one, I can just drag them together, and then Tableau PreBuilder identify hotel ID as a joint, which is correct. So I would have all the information in one single place, very similar to the previous one. And as like hotel ID is like the join, I have it as a like duplicate. So I'm going to remove this one as well, and I'm going to rename this step as full hotel info. So the last step is combining these 2 data sets together to have all data together. So now I'm going to just, very similar to the previous step, join them together, and this time I'm using the customer ID to gather all information about one single customer. What is the characteristics of customer, what review this customer wrote for me, which hotel offered to this customer in the past, and what was the response of customer. And now I can see the result here, which is very similar to what you saw previously. And again, my customer ID might be redundant. I can just search for customer ID here and remove like one of them because they are identical. So now after that, you can add another step if you want. There are like multiple built-in functionality here. You can clean your data, add new row. You can aggregate your data, pivot your data, add another join or union. If you want, you can just run your Python or R script directly here. So I don't have plan to cover all the functionality of PreBuilder because the main purpose here is building a machine learning model. But let's go through this step to get a better understanding of our data. So as I said, this is our single source of truth so there is a question, why are we using only inner joint? What is the, so I use inner joint because I want to get the data that exists in all of datasets. So if you have a customer that never received any offer, or you have a hotel that never offered to any customer, there is no value in building predictive model based off that, because so that's why I use like an inner join. This is like all my data together, and now the next step is building a predictive model. So my target variable here is like accept field, which is like the response of my customer. So as I mentioned earlier, we provide offer to some of our customer, and some of them accept this offer, some of them reject this offer, and there are like some other customer that never receive any offer. So these are the group of customer that we are going to run a new marketing campaign. So I need to build my predictive model based off the customer that already received the offer and respond to it to understand to build this predictive model and then apply it to the rest of customer. So now I'm going to create a branch here, and okay, so that I'm going to rename it to like training data. And so for the training data, I only need the customer who respond to my offer. So I can easily just exclude this. So these are the group of customers that already received the promotion and respond to it. So I can use this data set as a training data set. And I'm going to build another branch, which are like my new customer for which I want to get prediction. And I'm going to rename it to get prediction. And these are the group of customer that the response is unknown. So I'm going to just keep this customer to get the prediction. So now we have all data ready. The next step is just exporting this data and then build a predictive model based off that. So now as a next step, I'm going to select output. And basically by output, you can just write back your data into either a file or to a database. So you can just write your data back into your database, and we are supporting like a variety of data connections. So you can write it back to Amazon Redshift, to Google BigQuery, and many other data sets. In this case, I'm going to export it as a CSV file, and I can select it as like CSV file, and then you can decide where you want to write back your data. So I'm going to write back the data in the original database, and I can assign a name to it. I call it like hotel booking offer. So I'm going to accept it. So basically what this workflow do for me is just basically gather all the data, join them together, and come up with single source of truth. And then when I run this workflow, it just run it and then generate this output file for me. So it takes a few seconds for the so it is run and generate the output. And if I go back to my to this location, you can see that this file hotel booking offer is already built, which is like my my single source of truth to build the model. Now we are ready to build the model. Now let's jump into Tableau to Einstein Discovery to build the model. So as I mentioned, you can just create this account for yourself. So I'm going to log into my environment. And when you log into your environment, you will see something similar to this view, and everything is cloud-based. So to build the model, I'm going to, I need to go to like Analytic Studio, which is like your machine learning lab in which you can build your model. And the first step here is to bring your data, the data that you want to build the model. So if I go to Data Manager, you can see like all the data that already exists in my environment. To build this new model, I need to create a new data set. So I'm going to import my data. So I select the file, and then the data that I built is this hotel booking offer. So I select this, and then with few click, it just move to my environment. So this is like this, the data, as I said, we have like all the data related to customer, loyalty, membership, reward. We have customer ID. We have like the review from our customer, which is plain text. We have like location, city, and many more. So there are a couple of things to notice here. So this data set has some specific characteristics that make it even difficult for professional data scientists to build predictive model based off that. One of these characteristics is having like the review, like the plain text. So there are often some useful information in the review of your customer, but to build a predictive model based off that, you need to turn this data into some like structural data. So Einstein Discovery automatically runs sentiment detection based off your text data and then incorporate it into your machine learning model. And also this data set is quite like imbalanced data set because only like 9% of my customer respond positively. And this is a situation that we need to tune the model in a way that makes sure that it is not biased toward like the majority of data set. And we will see how easy Einstein Discovery can take care of all of this. So I'm going to upload this data set, and it takes few seconds to move all of the data from the location that it is into my Salesforce org in the cloud, and then after that I can start building my model. So let's give it a few more seconds to prepare the data and then start model building process. Okay, so the data is ready. So there are couple of options here. You can explore this data set by just, I can zoom this screen, then you can see it better. I'm not going through all of this option here. What we want to do here is create a model, and create a story is equivalent to build a model. By creating a story, my model building process starts. And this model building process is very straightforward. All you need to do is telling the Einstein Discovery what you want to predict. So in this case, I want to predict like the accept. This accept column is my target variable. So this is what I want to predict. And also I need to specify my business objective. Einstein Discovery not only build a predictive model for you, but also provide some recommendation how you can improve the outcome by changing the input variable. In this situation, my business outcome is maximizing the acceptance. Yes, I want like more customer respond positively to my offer. So the business objective is maximizing accept yes, and then we can go to the next step. There are two options here: only get insight or insight and prediction. I'm selecting the second one to get the prediction as well. And then you can go with like an automated configuration, which is like automatically doing feature engineering for you, or you can manually change it. So I'm going to with the manual one to show you like a couple of things here. So Einstein Discovery automatically identify the characteristics of my data set. So it tells me that this data set is highly imbalanced. So I'm going to apply some class weight to make sure that my model is not biased toward the majority. Also here, you can see all of your feature that you have with their correlation. So as a business user, you may have some like knowledge to include or exclude some of this field. For example, it is pretty much obvious that there is no value on having the customer ID or hotel ID because they are just identical number and we are not going to use it for the prediction. Or for example, all of my hotel is located in the state of Florida. So there is just one single value, and that's why the correlation is 0. So I'm going to exclude that. I also going to exclude like the county name and city name because I want to have like more generic model. And then I keep like the rest of them for the prediction. Review is the is the plain text, and it cannot be used as is to build a predictive model. If I select this one, Einstein Discovery provides me some option to transform this data. So in this case, since it is a review from my customer, I want to apply like detect sentiment. So by doing that, Einstein Discovery automatically runs sentiment analysis and identify if this review is positive, negative, or neutral, and then build a model based off that. So we are pretty much done with the configuration, and I'm going to click on create a story. So from this point, you don't need to do anything. Einstein Discovery will go through like all of the steps, like conducting some statistical tests, which is basically doing feature engineering for you, transforming data in a way that is like usable and applicable for your machine learning model, and then detecting some pattern if there is any like what is the correlation between like different variable and your target variable, and then building the model and evaluating like the improvement opportunity, how you can change your input variable to improve the business outcome. So this process may take like a few minutes till Einstein Discovery is running and building a model for me. I want to go through like this white paper. So if you are interested in learning more about like the under the hood, the science behind Einstein Discovery, there is a white paper here. I'm going to put the link into the chat box, and this white paper is written with by one of my colleagues, and it has like all of the technical detail behind Einstein Discovery, not only from the data science perspective, but also from the business application, the data platform, and ML operator. You probably are more interested in the data science part. So in the data science part, there is a section that describing like all of the algorithm that are used. Let me jump. Yeah. So here you can see like the information about like model training and assessment, and like all of the algorithm that is used in Einstein Discovery, as well as like some of the mathematical detail behind the data transformation. So there are a lot of useful information in this white paper if you are interested to learn more about it. There is a question on the chat. We can about tuning the hyperparameters. Einstein Discovery automatically tune the hyperparameters for you. So so it will go through like a train and test with cross validation, and then tune the hyperparameters for you in the best way that that is possible to get the most accuracy. So can you please explain what techniques in default is being used to apply class weight? So for class weight, basically we are when we are calculating like the accuracy or AUC of model, it assigns like more weight to the minority class to make sure that it is balanced and it is not like unbiased. Okay, to make sure that it is not biased toward the majority. All right, so the model building process is done. So we built this model with like a few minutes with a couple of clicks. And after building this model, this report automatically generates for you. And as a business user, without even having any machine learning knowledge, you can easily understand this. So in the left-hand side, we have like the variable sorted by the correlation with my target variable. So it seems that like loyalty has the highest correlation to the response of my customer. Also, if I look at the review, you can see that Einstein Discovery automatically run the sentiment detection and then categorize the review into negative, positive, and neutral. And it seems that my customer with like a positive review who had a very good experience has like more likelihood of accepting my offer, as opposed to the ones that have like negative opinion, which is quite intuitive. And then we can, for example, look at like the location. So you can see like how different locations are correlated. There you can look at like the interaction of different variables. For example, for the hotel near to the beach, if you offer your customer night free, it will increase the likelihood of acceptance. So there are a lot of information here that you can dig in and understand the behavior of your model. In the prediction tab, you can do some what if analysis, select like the different variable, the different like value for your for each of your feature, and then it will run the model on the fly and then give you like the real-time like prediction. And more importantly, it not only give you the prediction, but also provide some explanation, like based off this input, which factor has like positive impact or which factor has negative impact. So, and then last but not least, you can also see the performance of your model. So since this model was binary classification, the default like accuracy matrix is AUC matrix, so it is like 92%, which is quite good. We can just see more relevant statistical metrics like Gini and MCC. You can see like the grain and leaf chart. As I mentioned earlier, Einstein Discovery go through like class validation 3 folds, so you can see the result of all of these metrics in each of these folds. And these statistical metrics are relevant to your model. So if my model was like regression model, you would see some other metrics such as R square instead of like AUC. But this is quite transparent. And since it is binary classification, the best threshold that Einstein Discovery found is like 0.82. You can see the result of like this threshold in the form of like a confusion matrix and also some other relevant metrics to the classification. And if you want, you can just change this threshold to see its impact on each of these metrics and retune your model. I'm not going to do that. And also you can see the result of like raw prediction here. So now we built this model. The model is ready. So the next step is deploying this model and make this model available to the end user. So usually deploying models require some building infrastructure or data engineering. Fortunately, this is not the case for Einstein Discovery. You can deploy this model with one single click. I can go and click deploy the model, and then it starts deploying my model. I just need to assign a name to it. I'm going to assign like hotel offer, booking offer. So when you deploy the model on the Salesforce, everything will be taken care of with Salesforce Cloud, like resource allocation and everything. So you don't need to be worried about like any of the infrastructure. And the only thing that, and I'm going to deploy it without connecting to any Salesforce object because I just want to use this model on the in Tableau. Okay. The only thing you need to specify for your model is actionable variable. So as I mentioned earlier, Einstein Discovery give you some recommendation how you can change your input variable to improve your outcome. However, some of the input variable is not actionable. For example, you cannot change the location of hotel because it is like what it is. I cannot just move my hotel. Or if my customer has like any bad experience in the past, I cannot get back into the time and change their opinion. But what I can change is like providing them different offer. Like for example, the discount is something actionable. I can give them a better discount if it helps, or I can provide them a better perk if it is applicable, or I can change the way that I contact my customer. So you need to, as a business user, you need to select like which of these variables are actionable to get relevant recommendation. So now I'm going to deploy this model, and in a few seconds, so this model is deployed and it is ready to use to get the prediction. Now let's get back to our flow to see how we can get prediction from this model. So if you remember, we had like this second database, which is for my new customer. So I want to get the prediction how likely it is that this customer accept my offer and then take some action based off that. So to do that, I can just add another node and select prediction as a new node. So by selecting prediction, I need to select to my Salesforce org, and then to bring my my model into the flow and get the prediction. So it takes a few seconds to connect to my Salesforce org, and if you want to see that, you will be promoted to. It will be promoted here. So I'm going to log in with my account and then provide access. Okay, by doing that, all of my model can be imported into the flow, and I can call them in the real time to get the result of prediction. So it takes a few seconds. All right, now I can select prediction. By selecting prediction, these are the list of all model that I already deployed on my environment. I'm interested in hotel booking offer because this is the model that's relevant. So I select it, and then by selecting it, it basically import my model into the flow. And as you see, it automatically detect like which fields are identical. So you can change this field, like mapping the field in your data set to the feature that your model has. And also, if I just picture, so and now I'm going to apply, and then this model will be applied to my data set, and then I can export the results into somewhere else. So it is running prediction for me. So I'm going to add another node as output to write back the result of prediction. Very similar to the previous step. I'm going to export it as a CSV file, browse the file, and then I'm going to write it as a new file. I call it like hotel booking offer and change it to like prediction. Accept. So the model is ready. So all I need to do is just running this flow, and then it will run the flow, call the model, and then write back the results into the CSV file. So I'm going to show you the final result till this is running. So now I build like this second dashboard in which I have like the result of prediction for my new customer. So in this new dashboard, I basically colored each hotel based off the average likelihood of like acceptance rate. And here we can see that in average, on average, like for near the beach hotel, like for example, the likelihood of acceptance is 37%, for downtown is like 33%, for regular is like 23%. This result is better than first campaign, but it is still very low. So we can dig into this more to understand like the underlying behind that. Let's focus on the near the beach hotel. And we can see all of the near the beach hotel, and then some of them has like a very low performance. So for example, this one in the Verno Beach, the average acceptance likelihood is like 36%. So this is so Einstein Discovery helped me to identify which hotel has like very low performance. But if I select this hotel, the average acceptance likelihood is 36%, but it doesn't mean that all of the customers are not going to accept my offer. So we can get this prediction at any level of granularity that I want. So in the map, I have the result of prediction at the hotel level, but I build like this box plot that give me the distribution for each customer. So for this hotel, if I change the hotel, I can see the distribution change. So in this hotel, I have like some customer who are very happy with their offer and they are going to accept it. So I'm going to leave this customer alone because they are happy with what I'm going to offer them. However, there are like a bunch of folks here with a very low likelihood of acceptance. So they are my unhappy customer, and I want to change the promotion plan for this group of customers. So as you see here, using Einstein Discovery in Tableau enable business user to narrow down to the list of customer that I need to pay attention, the customer that need attention, because I don't want to change anything for this customer, but this group of customer needs some attention. But the ultimate job that we want to get done is encouraging this customer to book the hotel for me. And to get this job done, having the prediction by itself does not do any good for me. I know that the likelihood of acceptance for this group of customer is low, but then what should I do to improve it? So that's the place that you can take advantage of the second way of integration, which is like dashboard extension. And I will go through like the detail of that if we have time, but you can bring the result of prediction, not only prediction, but also the explanation and improvement directly into Tableau. So if I select any group of customer from the visualization, Tableau send this data, the data related to the customer that I select to my model, and then give me the result of prediction. So for this group of customer, the likelihood of acceptance on average is 15%. So now, why these customers are unhappy? They are like the top predictors because they did not receive any reward, because their review is negative, so they have a very bad past experience with this hotel. So these are like the top factors that negatively impact the behavior of my customer. So now the next question is how I can improve this outcome, how I can make this customer happy. So Einstein Discovery has like 3 different recommendations for me. I can provide 1 night free as a perk to this customer. And by making this change, I can improve this result by like 18%, which is quite good improvement. Or I can provide them a better discount, like 40% discount, and it can improve the result by 70%. Or I can change the way that I'm contacting this customer to email because they respond to it better, and then it would increase the response by 10%. So this is the place that you can, as a business user, you can take advantage of this recommendation and take appropriate action. So it doesn't mean that all of this recommendation is applicable, but as business user, you can decide. For example, providing more discount is not like a viable option here, but I can follow the other recommendation. I can just change their perk, or I can change the way that I contact this customer and get a better result. So you can see that there is like another hotel like very close to this one with like very similar characteristics, and the acceptance rate is 46%. So we can click on that and understanding the reason. So it seems that these 2 hotels are very similar. The only reason that my customer respond positively better to this one is that it has better like past experience. So they had like very positive review. So that's why on average the likelihood of booking on this hotel is 46% versus on this hotel is like 37%. So the past experience of my customer does matter. And you can do this analysis over and over for any of the hotel that you want. I can select this one. I can see that the top negative factor is like there's no discount provided to majority of customer. I can very similarly select a group of customer that I want to personalize and customize the promotion package, and then get like the recommendation. And then you can go through this analysis for any of your hotel as you want. And at the end of the day, as a business user, you are able to basically personalize and customize your promotion package for your customer to get a better result. So now let's and you see that this job is finished. So we got like the prediction for more than 25K in like around like 1 minute. So this data is now available in the database, and I build this visualization based off that. Now let's talk about like the second way of integration. We have like 7 more minutes to see how we can bring like this dashboard extension into Tableau. So I'm going to remove it and build it from the scratch. To bring the dashboard extension into Tableau, there's extension bottom here, so you can just drag it into your visualization, and then you have the option to select any dashboard extension as you want. Einstein Discovery fall onto like advanced analytic, and then I'm going to click on that, add dashboard. It automatically download the dashboard and add it to my view. Okay, it's working. So it takes a few times, but yeah. So this dashboard is added to my view, and then very similar to the PreBuilder, we need to do through the configuration. So it already have access to my Salesforce org. So let me zoom it in, and then we can select like what model we want to use. In this case, it is hotel booking offer. Then you need to tell Tableau from where you want to send this data. All of the information of my customer are in customer information worksheet, which is dynamically changed. And then when I proceed, it automatically map your worksheet field to your like model feature based on the similarity of name. If you want, you can just change this mapping, but it looks good. I'm going to the next step, and then you can assign a label to it. For example, I can call it like hotel booking chance, and I can customize it by adding percentage here. Since it is aggregated, you can select like what sort of aggregation you want to use. The default is average, but you can change it to median. Summation doesn't make sense here, but if you are predicting something like revenue or profit, maybe the summation makes sense. You can also select like how many top predictors you want to see. The default value is 3 top predictors and 3 top improvement, which are like the recommendation. And also you can define a threshold, like if the improvement is like less than 5%, it is not very significant. So I ask Einstein Discovery, ignore it. So you can just change this threshold, and I'm going to remove like the warning message. And then by clicking OK, this dashboard added to my Tableau view. And it is working like very dynamically. As I said, by changing any hotel or something, you can just see like the it reruns, send the data into your model and return back the result. So as you saw here, we built this model in like less than like 15 minutes, gather the data, build the model, deploy this model. And more importantly, by using like Tableau, you can make this model available to the end user, so they can just use this model on the fly in their daily workflow to make a better decision. And this is the key point to make machine learning successful at industry level, because as I mentioned earlier, any machine learning model or data science model, no matter how accurate they are, if they are not available to the end user in a way that they can interact with it in a self-service manner, then it is very unlikely that the model can generate any value for the organization. But by this way, you can not only automatically build this model, but also you can operationalize this model and make this model available to the end user. So let me back to my presentation. So if you have like any question or feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. Here is my email address. You can also find me on LinkedIn. As I mentioned, all of the material, the data, the workflow, the Tableau workbook will be available on my GitHub account. So please feel free to go to my GitHub account, download this data. And as I said, all of the trial version of these products are available. So feel free to download it and then build your own model. So I am going to, we have like, I think like 3 more minutes. So I'm going to stop here and answer some of the question in the chat box. I'm starting from the last one. Does recommendation system work? Does the recommendation system work? I'm not clear about this question. So if you can clarify, what do you mean, like recommendation system, like machine learning recommendation system, or you are asking about like the infrastructure you need to have? Okay, what are the model that can be built using Einstein Discovery? So you can build like any sort of like predictive model, binary classification, regression model, or multi-class classification with Einstein Analytic. And the white paper that I mentioned and put the link on the chat has all the detail about like variety of model that we are supporting. Recommendation system algorithm. So Einstein Discovery. So yes, you can build recommendation system with like Tableau CRM, but it works on the Salesforce org. So you can build recommendation system, but you cannot bring it into Tableau in a way that you can bring your predictive model. Support software trial. So this is support software trial, free trial. So the trial version of all of these product, Tableau PreBuilder, and Einstein Discovery is available. So as I mentioned earlier, and I think the link is available to the audience, so you can download the trial version of all of these products. The question is ethical AI. How does Einstein Discovery handle it? So Einstein Discovery. Einstein Discovery handle ethical AI in many different ways. So during the model training, as a business user, you specify which of your feature is sensitive and you don't want to include them into the model. At the top of that, Einstein Discovery identify how correlated these sensitive fields are with other fields. So it identifies the proxy for your sensitive data. And also, as you deploy this model and use this model in the real time, it automatically monitors the performance of your model to make sure that the result of prediction is not biased toward like a sensitive group. And if it was, it will send you alarm and warning. can we convert all this model into Python code? No, you cannot. All the model is built in Salesforce org automatically. You can, for some of the model, you can see the prototype of R code, but you cannot convert the model into Python code because there are like lots of data transformation and feature engineering are happen at the back end. So it's not possible to convert it to your Python code. However, Einstein Discovery has the feature which is called bring your own model. So if you already have a model written in Python and TensorFlow, you can use Einstein Discovery as a deployment platform and bring your own model into the platform. So we are right on time. So I'm going to stop here and pass it back to our moderator.
Thanks, Amir, for a wonderful session.